Fiesta Friday. Thanks to a federal grant, the Guam Museum Foundation, in partnership with the Department of Chamorro Affairs, are hosting a special conference next week. The grant is helping the two entities in preparing the island's cultural producers, creative industry, local and small emerging new businesses, and the community further commerce activity in the museum. Joining us in studio to talk about this special conference and why you should attend the Museum Effect Conference next Thursday, our Department of Chamorro Affairs President, Joseph Cameron, and once again, welcome back, Arlene Steffi.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being with us again. First, let's break down and explain the Museum Effect. Joseph, we'll start with you.
Primarily, the Guam Museum Foundation Incorporated is a non-government entity that partners as an endowment fund of sorts, just like the University of Guam has their own endowment for sustainability. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture has, on 2 other occasions, funded museum-related conferencing. This particular one is very focused on how we can work and network not just jobs on island, but how we can network product and byproduct knowledge and things that are authenticated to be part of this museum experience on island and off island.
Well, that being said, who are the people that you guys are hoping to attract to attend the conference?
We have several. We have, of course, Marvin Manabusan from Crowns, Guam.
These are the speakers, right?
Yeah. Yes, the speakers. Of course, our Arlene Steffi with us with Micronesian Area Research Center at the University of Guam. We have DFS, Francis Guerrero, and we have a slew of so many others. We have, of course, Anita Enriquez, who's always been into the Buy Local campaign. And then we're going to have Judy Wampat, who has proposed and put together some legislation that talks about the Guam Trade Commission and intellectual property rights as we move forward, not only for the museum, but as we move forward with the Festpack 2016 that will be held in Guam.
Okay. And you guys are, actually I saw a video that's online on YouTube, I believe, about Festpack 2016, so that's
We're excited about that. But more importantly, I think it's really critical that we look at our local expertise and work forward and in tandem as to how we're going to get this museum experience a living experience. And I'll let Arlene speak a little bit more on that.
Okay, Arlene.
Intellectual property rights is what I'll be speaking about. And I believe the reason I was asked to do that is because I've produced numerous documentaries using video. I've been collecting oral history now over 20 years. The program that I'll be featuring here at KOM starting Sunday is a result of all that work. And so because I went into that area of mass communication, I had to understand what was involved in the process of collecting people's stories, what were the obligations in collecting the stories, how and what parameters were involved in presenting those stories, and then what relationship I had with the people that I was interviewing and how I could use that story to tell other stories in mass comm. So intellectual property, by just the way it sounds, is intellectual. Right. It comes from somebody. But there is no such thing as original thought. I mean, I look at this flower, you look at this flower, and Joseph looks at the flower, and we all have different perceptions from that. And then what we do with that, you can draw it, we can all draw it, but it all comes out different. So if we were to draw something from this, whatever our conception was, is that intellectual property? How do you protect that property? The other day I went and had a photograph taken. I need it now because we have to promote the show. And the work that a photographer does is what they call work for hire. Very different from what I do, which would be to conceptualize something, to develop a story. The story in and of itself is not copyrightable, but the process in doing that, and then the end product is intellectual property. So unfortunately, when you go out and do a sunset, that's not intellectual property, so you can't really copyright the art, but you can sell that art and it belongs to a particular individual. If you were to create a method or a machine that would be able to take the thoughts that you have in your head and paint that on a canvas or on some medium, that you can patent.
Right.
And that's protected. So I think that when I do my